Hey everybody, Jason here, and I'm back with another video for you guys today. Today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about setup window. This video is really kind of aimed and pointed towards the 10 scale crowd, and specifically the 10 scale two-wheel drive buggy crowd. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is because it seems like more and more I'm finding that every little pocket throughout the country is starting to race on different surfaces. Here in California, we're pretty much a clay track environment, but I've started to hear stories about carpet tracks popping up. Here in my hometown, there's going to be a track that actually has like a rubberized cork type of a surface, like the stuff that gym mats are made out of. Of course, over there in Las Vegas, they already have a carpet track. And then back in the Midwest, I see some AstroTurf tracks popping up. And so it begs the question, how do you get your car to be set up and to be dialed on all these different surfaces? And what is the likelihood that one setup will transfer from, say, an AstroTurf onto carpet onto clay? Then even within clay, you have high grip, medium grip, and obviously lower grip tracks. And I'm not trying to leave all you guys out that actually have dirt tracks, places like Trackside in Wisconsin, because those tracks still use clay-based tires. But the point is, we have a variety of different surfaces, and the cars with the center of mass and the weight just being more centralized are just getting harder and harder to get dialed on every surface every time right away. I just really feel like that setup window is shrinking. And I just want to show you guys exactly what I mean. I've got this little whiteboard right here. So come on over. I'm going to draw some stuff up on the whiteboard and kind of share my opinion with you guys. I actually shot some of these whiteboard videos a long time ago for setup and just never got them edited and out because I just wasn't happy with them. So let's try and make this happen. Okay, so on any graph you have the X and you have the Y. We'll just call this Y, we'll call this X. Now, we're going to call X setup. This probably isn't the best way to do this, but we're just going to call it setup. Obviously, there's 100 different things you can change in setup to accomplish whatever you want, but we're going to call Y speed. And what I kind of mean when I say speed is just like lap times and stuff like that. But basically, here's the way I feel about it. I feel like the cars of yesterday, the setup would get so good, and basically, it would kind of do one of these. Okay? So your car you could miss the setup by a pretty wide margin, right? We'll just call this X, I don't know. And you could miss the setup by X. You could be a little bit too soft in your suspension, too soft. You could be a little bit too hard. Your spring rates could be wrong. But the car would be drivable, right? The speed, the overall speed here wouldn't change much, okay? That's what really made cars like these rear motor cars, like the B4 or the Kyosho RB5. That's what made those cars legendary because, I mean, if you look back, what you'll find is that these cars back in those days, there was like a setup or the setup, and you very rarely changed anything but a spring or two, and you went up and down in oil. You didn't see full wholesale changes that were literally like, you didn't see completely different roll centers, C and D block, completely different pivots, all this stuff. You didn't need that because the cars were so, the lower traction and the rear motor cars just allowed for the cars to just be competitive. But now things are changing, and they're changing a ton. And so what it seems like now with these mid-motor cars, and really more specifically the laydown cars, is that curve, instead of looking something like this, it looks a lot more like this. And so when the cars are absolutely perfect, and we'll just call this a 10. When the car is a 10, when the car is as good as it can possibly be, it is absolutely ballistic. And I mean, I've seen cars that are literally 6 to 7 tenths of a second per lap better than their rear motor counterparts. And that's a huge amount of speed. But the trade-off you get is that this right here is too soft, and this right here would be too hard. And so this window here is huge. There's a huge penalty for missing the setup. The penalty is so severe that even if you miss the setup by just a little bit, there's a huge gap in speed, right? And if you miss it by, 2 spring rates or a couple of ball stud washers, all of a sudden the car is just way off pace. And therein lies the rub. So I think what we're trying to see now, I've started to see some of these guys like over at Team Associated, I've seen them start to do some different things with their cars. They've got like this new, they're using like new 67 millimeter drive shafts out of like a Losi 3.0 and stuff like that. And I think what they're doing is I think they're trying to take these cars that are ridiculously fast, and I think they're trying to find a way to get this to happen. That way, it's got a much wider window. That way the car can be fast on a variety of surfaces. You don't actually have to have the perfect setup for every surface, but you can have a really good setup that takes you from, higher grip, let's just say super wet clay where you're on slicks, to maybe lower grip clay where it's a little bit dusty, or maybe you got a track that's abrasive so you're kind of on a ghost pin. You won't have to chase the car for days. Literally, I think the real goal is to find a way to get these cars that have this extremely centralized weight to handle well, to drive consistently, and just go fast without having to have these insane setup changes. So I don't know, I just thought it was kind of an interesting observation that I've seen over time. It's funny because I'll take any of my laydown cars, with the exception of the RB6, because I haven't had that car for enough time to really share my real opinion on with you guys just yet. But all the cars that I've had that have been laydown cars, they're just not dialed everywhere. And I'm not saying that, maybe that's not even a fair request. Maybe we can't ask for a car that's dialed everywhere. But I definitely think the car that's probably going to become the most popular or the most dominant here in the next year or two will be the car that not only has speed, but is the car where they can really widen the setup window. Now, I don't know what it takes. I don't know what the essence of these cars. I don't know what it is that gives a car a wide setup window. And to some degree, I don't think the manufacturers know either. But I have a sneaking suspicion that they are hard at work trying to figure it out right now. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. I just want to say thanks again for watching my videos. I appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed this video, you'd be doing me a huge favor if you could either like, comment, or even better, subscribe. I post a lot of stuff on social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, stuff like that. So if you want to catch up with me, I'll post this stuff up for you, and you can come on over, add me as a friend, follow me on Instagram, and you'll be able to see things that just don't make it to YouTube. Again, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.